What's going on, everybody? This is Julene, and this is what's going down in the PM. As you can see, I'm minus my co-host. She's on vacation right now, taking care of some things. But shout out to Nietzsche, you're always on my mind. I have exciting news. We've been talking about it on Instagram. I'm here with social media influencer Tiffany Croww. Give it up, y'all. Welcome to the show, Tiffany. What's going on?
Oh, hey, thanks for having me. I'm excited to be here.
Not as excited as I was, let me tell you.
Oh, really? That's funny.
Yes, girl. So it's wine o'clock, y'all, and we've got my favorite yoga instructor in the building.
Yeah, I love that I get to be here and get to chat with everybody and just have a little bit of fun today. It sounds good.
Always. So I don't know if you listened to the show before you came on. The whole premise of the show is how professionals behave once we get off of work.
Oh.
when our filters go down and we're just done.
Yeah, well, that sounds good. Well, my mom just passed in the background, but
mine too. Quarantine status.
It's all good. Yeah, I mean, it's kind of cool that you have this podcast. I haven't listened to any of the episodes yet, but I was excited to see that you have, a cool platform for moms to hang out and kind of get together. So that's awesome.
Absolutely. And the thing about moms, right, is I always talk about this ubiquitous image of the super mom where we just run ourselves into the ground to fulfill this, as if somehow if we're just not able to do it one day, we're just not good enough.
I totally know what you're saying, and it's crazy because it's so many of us we put it on ourselves, right? So we're constantly just trying to uphold something, and even minus the children, we're still the housekeepers, we're still all the other things, and I have clients right now who are trying to get pregnant, and they've been talking about it, and it's they have all the stuff minus the children, and I'm just yeah, girl, I get it. It's gonna keep getting on when we get the kids involved, So it's a struggle for sure.
Yeah. I wrote an article that said 2 things women should stop doing immediately. One of them is commenting on single women at parties, why are you still single? Ladies, stop it. But to what you're saying with the women trying to get pregnant, this is why when we head out to family dinner come Thanksgiving and we have our day of remembrance where we remember the people lost in the name of expansion, we sit down, and before you look at your baby sister, your cousin that's in her 40s with no babies, not married, don't open your mouth and tell her, so when are you gonna have some babies?
Yeah.
The truth is, maybe she's married and trying, it's heartbreaking. Or maybe she had a baby born in heaven, is just not ready to talk about it.
Totally. Yeah. So exactly. There's constantly this judgment that, or offering advice, judgment, that come from other women doing it to other women. And it's kind of you're constantly trying to push somebody down without realizing it. So
Yes.
Instead we should really be trying to lift each other up, talk about something that's more how are you feeling? We don't really talk about that kind of stuff anymore, truly feeling, truly, because sometimes we aren't in touch with ourselves as how we feel. We're just trying to get to the next thing. If it's in our career, if it's in our family. And so I love that yoga can kind of bring us back to that. And this morning I taught a class that was all about, it was very restorative, which means basically we just laid on the ground for an hour, but it's all completely guided. And I bring intention to the class. And today it was all about honoring yourself. When was the last time people got a chance to like think about things in a way where it's like, I need to honor myself today and do this. I need to honor myself and like act this way. And like sometimes we need to honor our fellow women if we're like near them or around them or discussing something. And I think women have a tendency to like judge and then say a comment that's rude and backhanded, and we don't need any more of that in our lives, honestly.
Oh my God. Yes.
Yeah.
Now, obviously, I'm a mother of 3.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'm gonna say that first. I'm a mother of 3. I'm a writer,
Amazing.
but I'm also a female executive. And when you walk into the room, you forget because, in truth, in the business world, men don't take the days off. They don't have the kids call in. I mean, I don't want to sound sexist, but in the time that I've been doing this, I've
Mm-hmm.
never seen a male executive have to take a call because the kid's nose is bleeding or the kid's not feeling well.
Totally.
And women catch that judgment all the time.
Yeah.
And it's terrible that not only do we get to deal with that, we judge ourselves, and then we get to deal with judgmental other people.
Yeah.
I was on your page not that long ago, and I believe I commented because another woman tried to make her self-esteem issue about you.
Yeah.
And I was like, I had a real Cat Williams moment there when I'm like, it's the esteem of
Yeah.
yourself.
Yeah. Yeah. And like those hater comments, they come from like a negative place within themselves. They obviously are feeling very insecure about themselves and they're projecting it onto me. And like on Friday, I'll just share like, or maybe Thursday, I can't remember. This in the past 7 days, I kind of got into it with a hater, and I got sucked in. I totally
You
did. I
got sucked in?
like
Oh no.
I got totally like into it, and then I realized like this is not the place I want to be. I just don't like being there. And it made me like totally look at everything that I was doing on social media differently. And so this weekend I put out like this call saying, if you need a blessing, please write a comment. And I took the time to voicemail, send a little voice message to every single person who commented to say like, hey, I just want you to know that you're appreciated, and I love that you follow me. I appreciate you, and please, please, please know that you are enough, you're valid, you're worthy. And I just like sent them all like amazing blessings, and I needed to like put that energy into the universe because like I got sucked into some negative energy. And I think
Yeah.
we forget like when we get sucked in, like we still need to like find it within ourselves to like get out of that negative space. And one way that I did that was just to kind of like put that good energy out there. And all of a sudden my entire page like flipped, like my real followers came through. And I was like, this is what I'm here for. Like this great positive female energy where people just want to have a passion for yoga and they don't know where to start. Like that's why I started this whole thing. That's the reason why I wanted to like have a platform, because people are just so afraid to try anything new, try to even like think about being in their bodies. And so I just wanted something for them to feel that way. And then also like, affirmations and like other self-care things. And I feel like as fat women, a lot of times it's like, well, once you get thin, you can like feel that way, right? Like we're not allowed to feel a certain way until we get
Yes.
and so it's like I want people to like take the opportunities to, if they want something, to get it. If they feel like they need something, they should take it. They should do it. If you need an affirmation, take it within yourself. There's no reason why you can't feel good about yourself in your body today.
I agree. I've had to remind myself of that many times. I was hit by a drunk driver in
Oh my God.
November 2019, and I had to be in a rollator, which is like a wheelchair walker combo.
Wow.
And for 8 months I couldn't walk. on my own, my legs would just go
Oh,
numb and give out, and I gained so much weight. This is the biggest I've ever been,
yeah,
and I'm on my feet now. I'm walking around now,
yeah.
and my back muscles had atrophied. This is actually how I found your page because I got my first procedure done, and I explained to the doctor that my muscles were really stiff.
Hmm.
I couldn't understand. It was like I was trying to yank on a rubber band that didn't wanna move, and the doctor suggested trying Pilates and yoga.
Okay.
Now, when I was, like, at 180 pounds, at
Hmm.
200 pounds, I lacked a little something called coordination, so yoga was really hard for me back then. So now I'm thinking, "Okay, now at 260 pounds,
Mm,
how am I going to get this done?"
yeah.
I can still touch my toes, but
Okay.
so some things are just a lot harder.
Totally.
And
Yeah, and I saw your comment on my post about like what's holding you back, right? Like what's holding you back from trying yoga? Like if it's like little or big, like what is the thing? Because I wanted to make content that was centered around like the things that were holding people back. And I saw that you made the spinal comment, and I just was like, okay, good. I know there's a lot of people who have back issues, and I this is the space that I want to be in, where it's like let's build up the muscles, let's focus on like gaining the strength, and then as you gain the strength you gain the flexibility, and that's the whole beauty of yoga is you're constantly, it's like strength flexibility, you're, it's like this duality that goes between, versus a lot of the other types of physical forms of movement, it's just strength, they're like focused on the strength, which is great, like we need strength in our bodies for sure, but like flexibility is just as important. Like you said, it's like a rubber band that won't move. If we are not flexible, all of a sudden we're going to snap and hurt ourselves. And
yes,
that's why, like yogis, there's women who can do, cartwheels at 95 years old. Like there's a reason why. It's because they have the flexibility in their spine and their bodies to be able to move that way. And so, yeah, like I feel like there is definitely a yoga place in yoga for you. Of course, like it just depends on like how often you do it, how many times, the duration, and then the exercises that you choose. So I'm hoping I'm going to come up with a little 5 exercise kind of thing for like your specific thing that can hopefully help other people with the same type of issue.
ooh, girl, I was doing your back exercises like 2 days ago. I was like, okay, body fold,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
I was in it. I was in it. I played
good.
played some music too.
Very good. Yes. Yeah. Like I don't play a lot of music just because there's all these rights and all this stuff, copyrights and stuff
Yeah,
for YouTube. But yeah, like I think that's kind of the beauty. You can kind of do whatever music like you want to. So you don't have to like worry about whatever's playing.
yeah. I was playing violin music.
Oh, nice. Very calming, it sounds like.
I'm
Yeah.
trying I'm trying to lose some weight for my wedding.
Oh, when are you getting married?
Oh, November 20th, 2021.
That's my birthday.
Get out.
Yeah.
That's that's my great-grandmother's wedding anniversary.
Oh, really?
Yes, her and my great-grandfather were married for, like, 50, 60 years before they
Wow.
passed. Then
Oh my gosh.
they passed, like, within a couple of years of each other.
Right. Oh,
I just want all that good love energy.
yeah, absolutely. I think everybody does, and like I think it's beautiful if you can find, a partner to like get married to and everything, but even still like finding that love for yourself, I think is equally as important as well because I know there's a lot of people
Absolutely.
who struggle with that. And a lot of times it's like when you're focused on yourself, all of a sudden, like, then it'll happen. Like, you'll find somebody because it's like you figure out like what you need as a person. And then somebody else all of a sudden appears in your life. And it's like a good, it works. It's
Exactly. See, I always talk about, breaking down, like, shifting the narrative and breaking down stigmas,
Mhm.
especially when it comes to mental health and autism,
Mm.
because it's unfortunate, and, I'll be the first to, like, within, like, minority communities, it seems like mental health, getting help is a stigma. You know, when I came home, I can't tell you how many times I heard, well, you're not in the military anymore. You're safe now, so you need to just it's time to move on.
Yeah.
When in fact, look, I'd love to move on, but I'm still having dreams. I can't sleep. I'm doing this, and getting help is such a like they're going to judge me. This is just not something we talk about. When it comes to taking care of yourself, like a lot of people get out of a relationship and just hop into the next one.
Right. Yes.
When I got divorced, I made sure I did the work.
Oh,
I
yeah.
went, and I'm not ashamed to say it. I got therapy, because hurt people, and
Absolutely.
I didn't want to hurt the next person
Right.
coming. I stayed to myself. I healed. I got therapy, and you know what? When I was ready and when I was whole, I met my fiance, and it is the healthiest relationship I have ever had in my life.
I love that story. I love that. And it, like, centers around such like an important, like, voice and message that we need to like be spreading. Mental health is so important. And like I feel like, we can always like kind of bring it back to yoga because it's like yoga and mental health kind of go hand in hand.
Agreed.
It's an actual time where you as a person can feel into the body. You can think about things you normally wouldn't be thinking about. Yes, the practice of movement is important, but like at the beginning you tap into the breath, you check in with the body, and then at the end you check in with the body. And there's many times in your life where you don't do those things at all. You don't even know how your body really feels until it's screaming at you and you're like, why am I in pain? I don't understand. It's because you're ignoring every single signal in your body until it starts screaming. And like mental health is the same way. Like we just ignore all these needs. So we ignore our self care. We ignore getting enough sleep. We ignore feeding ourselves well. Like we don't live healthy lives. And then all of a sudden, like, we freak out and like have a reaction and are mean to people and are being this person we don't want to be. And it's because we aren't taking care of ourselves. And our bodies don't know what to do. Our minds don't know what to do. And so they just start lashing out at everybody. And we're like, well, that's what you get. And we're in such a negative mind space that we feel badly. And then we get in a depression and we can't get out of it. And
Yes.
there's that
Oh,
stigma of like
preach.
mental health. It's sad.
So what I want to know is
Mhm.
we got into it. I want to know, tell me about you.
Oh,
Girl, when did you get into yoga? How long
okay.
have you been doing this? How
Yeah.
long have you been just changing minds and hearts and shifting narratives and being this awesome unicorn of a person?
Thanks. Um, so okay, 15, 16 years ago, I started doing yoga and I had a teacher. I basically started it because I was running a lot. So I was like doing half marathons and 5Ks, and I was like needing a cross training activity. And so I
Mhm.
really got into yoga for the cross training activity. And a teacher came up to me and was like, "You have a beautiful practice. Like, I'd love to have you take my teacher training." And I was like, I would love to do that, except for like, I have another job. And like, why would I be doing that? That's so weird. Like, I don't know. In my mind, I was like, it was a compliment, but then it just didn't work out. Like, it just wasn't the timing for me. But at the same time, I was still a chunky person. And so I was like, well, I got to lose weight first, right? Like, in my mind, I'm like, once I lose weight, then I'll go back to this idea. But it's really nice to like, somebody mentioned it. Hey, like, I am worthy enough to be mentioned, which felt good. She may have just been trying to sell her yoga teacher training, and that's fine too. However, it was, I took it as a compliment. Um, and then like maybe last year was when I finally took the plunge. So like 2 years ago, I was like, I really want to do this. Like I'm really unhappy in my life. I'm really unsettled. Yoga is the one thing I go to all the time to like kind of bring me back. I know I can help people. I have a background in retail sales. So like I was a retail manager for 18 years. And then I did paint night. So I had the personality enough to like be out there and obnoxious. And then I sold LuLaRoe, which if you're like familiar with like those types of clothing, it's like, oh my gosh, that was a rabbit hole.
Oh, I can only imagine.
So, yeah, I think like combined with all of those things, it just kind of made for like a personality because I would do live sales and then the painting thing. I don't know if you've been to a paint night, but mine were really raunchy. And we talked about like mama likes it wet and like,
Hey, yeah.
so we definitely like we were into the raunch. I was like, if you ain't raunchy, you ain't with me. Right. So it's like, I started off the night
Girl,
like
just
very
let that freak flag fly. You go, girl.
it was so much fun, but like I was doing it with another job. So like basically last year I decided I'm doing this. I'm going to like commit to this. And I got my certificate in January of this year. And I decided that I was just going to start posting on Instagram every single day. And I was going to share my practice. And I wanted to like get other fat people like share the joy of yoga. My entire teacher training, that was my goal. I was like, I'm sharing the joy of yoga. And like coming from that place, I felt like it was like a safe place for fat people to like want to follow me. And I was a fat person. And so it's like, you feel safe going to another fat person. Like, I understand your belly gets in the way for the forward folds. Like, you have to move your fat around. And here's the thing, like, that's the beauty of fat, honestly. Like, at least it moves. If you got muscles everywhere, you ain't going to be stretching them. Like, you have to really be flexible to, like, get into the positions. Whereas if you're a fat person, haha, like, you can move that belly a little bit and get into the position.
A little shift and you're good.
Yeah. And then I started getting on like TikTok and that was super fun. And I think people just kind of started following me from there. And so now I've like created a little something and I think it's so cool. Like social media can like be there for you, you know, in a really positive way. And then of course there's trolls. Everybody thinks that my health is of concern. You know, keep your comments to yourself. Like I'm just existing in a fat body, therefore my health is concerning them. So
I'll just say, like, okay, so why is my fatness your business?
seriously.
Why worry about your fatness?
Yes. I mean, I'm concerned for the people who are vaping and have explosions in their face. Like, you know, do some concern somewhere in other places. Like, I mean, I'm sure they're not messaging their friends and throwing around different comments that are very, very rude and derogatory towards fat people to their friends who vape and like do other things like drink alcohol and like eat burgers. Like I'm sure there's no concern for their thin friends, right? It's only for the fat people.
Well,
And
to be fair, I'm an equal opportunity judge. If you vape around me, I'm like, bro, that's gross. You smell like a strawberry, like you smell like a big old strawberry. Go somewhere with like a big smoke surrounded strawberry. Go
I mean,
away.
I live in California, and so like there is a thing about people who vape, and like the thing is that it's not the greatest for your health, and so that was like my point. And like if you vape,
Yeah.
I'm not trying to judge you, but like yes, I agree. Like it is bad for your health. But is it equally as bad as me eating a cheeseburger? I don't know. You know what I mean? Like,
No, it's not the same thing. And here's the thing. How are you, like, I saw your post about, you know, a good fat and a bad fat. First of all, I love hot dogs. I'm like, I can eat healthy all day long, but you put a hot dog in front of my face, I'm eating. I'm eating
yeah,
like 2 or 3, it's happening.
yeah,
So I'm a
good.
foodie. And with someone who vapes, this is a terrible habit, but you know, you don't need that to live. The hardest part about weight loss is that you have to eat to live.
Totally.
So now what?
Yeah. Yeah. And that's the thing is like, we shouldn't be judged based off of what we're eating because you don't see us 24/7. That's the other thing, right? Like you said, most of the time you eat healthy or you make that attempt or you feel like you don't need the hot dog, but if it's in front of you, like you enjoy it. The thing about like not letting yourself eat things, it goes down a really bad rabbit hole of like eating disorders and other things because when you deprive yourself so much and then start thinking about things like, oh, if I eat that, I'm going to die. Like that's kind of how some people develop eating disorders. They are so terrified of gaining weight that they just will not eat anything. And it's like, it's okay. It's okay to exist in a little bit of a fatter body to enjoy your food and your life.
It's true. And it's like on a regular day, you would not sit here in a regular situation and come up to someone and be like, hey, man, that's going to kill you.
Totally.
Walking will kill you. You don't go up to someone who's walking, hey, man, that's going to kill you.
Totally.
You go up to someone who's running, dude, that's bad for your joints. You're going to end up with arthritis.
Exactly.
Why don't we do that? Because we have this thing called minding our damn business, and it's rude. It's just rude, people.
Totally is. And it's really sad because then it's like, there's so many people who come to me and who are like, I want to do something like what you're doing, Tiffany, but I'm afraid. I'm afraid of the people who are going to judge me, my friends and family and all this. And I'm like, you know what? my like tolerance for all of that is really like high. So I have zero fucks given. Like I do not care what I put out there. Like I'll show my belly, I'll show my body in a way that is like, I want you to know, like, this is okay. I'm not trying to be like sexy or anything like that. I just want women to know, like, fat bodies exist, and me being in this size can do yoga too. Like, it doesn't matter.
It really, because your post about what going into a studio could be like was a whole mood. Let me tell you. I've told you I've tried going into yoga studio. First of all, my experience wasn't like what you demonstrated. My experience was with people looking like, okay.
Right.
It's just, and then they start, oh, get in this pose, and I'm over here like struggling and people staring. So it's true. If more yoga studios presented the experience like we were welcome there, it would be so much less anxiety associated. Honestly, it's not just yoga either, the gym too.
Yeah.
You ever go in the gym and feel like the entire world is staring at you?
Totally. Yeah. And I mean, like, think about it like this. Like, how excited are you to, like, go to a nail salon or, like, go to a spa? Like, it should be the same feelings of excitement. Those are potentially self-care items that you consider self-care, like physical self-care. But, like, as far as, like, mental and emotional self-care, like yoga, exercise, all of those wonderful endorphins that are going around in your mind, like, it should be presented in the same way, and you should be looking forward to going instead of thinking, oh God, I'm so fat. What if they judge me? Or all the people there are just skinny white women who, they drink their green juices and they wear the most expensive, clothing. And like, that's the thing. That's the stigma for Pilates and for yoga. And like, I was having a conversation with Askew Pilates, and she has the same thing. Like, that is a stigma in Pilates, and she's like trying to break it, like make it to where people don't have to be, of like a certain type of skin color or a certain type of body size or a certain type of like, if you drink this, therefore you are a Pilates person. Like, that doesn't have to exist. You can do anything you want if you come into her studio. And I just love that, like, it exists, but it's so rare, so it's like you can't find it, and then it's not near you, and then it's not accessible, and so it's like it's a little bit hard because then you're like, oh, it exists, but then I can't get to it, and so it becomes more frustrating. So yeah, like, I feel like it's out there and people are beginning to see, But a lot of people are still set in their ways. It's like clicky, you don't feel comfortable. And like, if I was to ever open up a yoga studio, I would want to be that person who's like, welcome in, like, give me a hug. Like, I can't wait to see you again. Like, I'm so glad you're back. Like, I would want to remember everybody's names. I'd want to like show them everything around, because like you walk into a studio and sometimes it's like, I don't even know where the props are. I don't even know where the bathroom is. Like, can you just show me like really quick? Like, it's kind of rude, honestly, to like
Yeah.
assume that people know where things are.
You walk in and you're like, so, do you have any of those brick thingies?
Yeah. And then you have to ask, and they're like, "Oh, you use that?" And it's like, why are you judging me from how I practice my yoga? Like, seriously?
It's like, I don't even really know what it's called, but now I'm probably never gonna ask you.
Exactly. Yeah. And then, do you want to go back to that place too? And like, no, I don't want to ever go back to that place because they made me feel like crap. That's the bottom line of it all. So, like, yeah, yoga industry needs to like up their game for sure.
Definitely. So, let's get the tea on Tiffany Crow. What's going on? So
Okay.
you mentioned you had a husband. I know you got kids. How many kids you got?
I have two, a 6-year-old boy and then a 2-year-old little girl.
Oh, so you used to run marathons?
Yeah.
Dude, how did you train for that? I'm pretty sure the only time I ever ran anything was in the military or if someone was chasing me.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a huge time commitment for sure, and that's how I injured myself, and then I couldn't keep running. But that's why like yoga was like a wonderful kind of like thing that I already had going for me. I had done it for many years, but essentially like this was when I was in the peak of my kind of eating disorder, body dysmorphia. Like I was obsessed with exercising, and I had something called orthorexia where I literally thought I was going to die if I ate like bad foods. And then I was obsessed with exercising to the point where I literally would exercise like for 6 hours a day. Like it was insane. It was unattainable. And of course I got injured. Like who wouldn't? I would go run like 17 miles and come home and do P90X. Like who does?
Oh no.
Yeah, it was, so that's what I'm saying. Like it was really bad for me. But like I'm glad it worked out to the point where I had to like look at myself like this isn't going to work, and eventually your body will break down and will tell you. And I think that's why it's important for us to like listen to our bodies, because like my body was screaming at me during that run and I'm like push it through. Nobody likes a quitter. Come on, come on. And I still
Mm.
pushed it through and I hurt myself bad.
Oh, yeah, military is big on pain is weakness leaving the body.
No, no, no.
No, no, pain is your body telling you to stop.
Please.
So what brought you to from I'm killing myself to attain the unachievable dream to, I might need to get help for this? Was
Um,
it the injury that was the catalyst
yeah, so
or
it was the injury, and then I got pregnant with my son, and then I just realized like I need to be a mom to him for a little bit. And then once I had my daughter, like almost 3 years ago now, she's like 2.5. I didn't want her to have to ever do that. And it was just different having a little girl, because like you all of a sudden see yourself in them, and then you're like, oh my gosh, like she has no idea what this world is going to do to her mind. Like, I want to be something that's different for her. So at least she could always come back home and go, Mom, this person's crazy. And I'm so glad that you taught me this. And so that's when I really like started looking at myself like being fat isn't the worst thing in the entire world. And I needed to like change that thought, because that's very prominent. I don't care who you are in this like world, anywhere in the world, if you are between the ages of like 12 and 20, that's probably been ingrained in your head since you were born, since the day you were born. And you begin to think those thoughts that are negative, and all of a sudden you aren't worthy unless you lose weight. And so from those thoughts to now, it just was a matter of wanting to do better for my daughter. And then now it's more like I've gone on the self-love journey. I've like figured it out. I've done all the work, and I know like how I can like show other people to do the same thing, even if it's like in a small dose where in the morning you just see something and you get like a little smile because you see a post from me and you're like, this girl's awesome and I just love her. And I hope that that's what I could be for somebody, and then maybe even help them more if they want to take yoga with me or do a coaching session or anything like that. But yeah, that's basically kind of like how it began, as far as like my self-love journey. And it's a lot of like reminding myself every single day, because it happens even now. Like my friends will say something like, oh, I'm getting so fat. And I'm just like, okay, size 4. Like, could you use a different word? Like, I'm having body issues. You know what I mean? Like, I get it. Like, everybody feels a certain way, but like, come on. I'm a size 22. You're a size 4. Don't be calling yourself fat. Like, calm it down. Like,
Oh, my fiance gets me all the time. I'll get up and be like, babe, my body is so ugly today.
oh,
I'll get up and I'll be like, I'm just not feeling myself. I couldn't fit into these pants that I really liked. Um, and then it doesn't help when you have other people telling you things like, I found these pants that I purchased before the accident, and I lost some weight once my procedure allowed me to like stand and walk because I was more active. But I put on these pants, they look so dope. And
yeah,
when you get it in your head, this is what I'm wearing today. I picked out
yeah.
the shirt I'm gonna wear with it. You get there and you've got like an inch before the button can button, and you're just like, I'm going back to bed.
I get it. I get it. Yeah, a lot of my yoga clients are in that same like mindset of I have this gold pair of pants, or like this used to fit me and I want to get back there. And I really try to help them see like, um do you love yourself as you are? Like, if you're living in this present moment, why are you worried about a pair of pants? And like really trying to bring the reflection back to like their current situation. Like, are you living in the present? Because a lot of times what we're doing is we're like thinking about how we were in the past, like you were, and then all of a sudden it's like, well, we're living there because that's better than the existence that we're in right now for some reason, even though our present situation is just as good and we're not seeing it. We're only worried about one thing. And then we also worry about the future. Like, I'm going to gain more weight. Like, I'm stressed out about that. Like, if I'm this big, then your mind starts wondering. So it's kind of like I try to bring people back to the present, and I'll just say, like, find something that brings you some joy and do that thing. Stop worrying about the pants. Go buy a bigger size pants and throw those away. Don't use that as a goal thing. That's
Yeah.
toxic. And then make sure you are living in a flow state, and that means just like doing something where 4 hours could pass and it feels like 5 minutes.
Right.
So something that you truly enjoy doing, and it could be going for a walk, it could be painting, it could be watching your favorite television show, like binge watching it, but like finding something. I prefer to say like do some yoga, like once you've been practicing with me for a while, do yoga on your own. And like finding that flow state is so good to like stay in the present, because like I feel like a lot of people just don't know how to live in the present moment.
Yep. So the secret to happiness, y'all, throw out the gold pants. Throw them out. I after that, I was so sad. I just cleaned out my whole closet.
Yeah,
I had work pants that didn't fit anymore, skirts. I was like,
yeah,
one day they'll fit me. No,
yeah,
2 days they don't fit me. So 2 days
exactly.
you're going out.
Exactly. Yeah, there's no point to hold on to anything that doesn't fit you. If it's too big, too small, whatever, like let's live in the present moment for sure. Marie Kondo that shit. Like, it is not worth it to like be holding on
Exactly.
to shit that doesn't bring you joy for sure. Yes.
Yeah. Before we go ahead and wrap this up,
Mhm.
thank you. I want to thank you so much for coming on here to talk to me today.
Yeah.
I had a great time with you. You're so down to earth and you're just awesome. Why
Oh,
don't
thank
you
you.
shout out your business and tell all my listeners how they can get with you on some yoga? Because movement's for everybody, y'all. Movement is for
Ooh,
everyone.
okay, yes, absolutely. So, follow me on Instagram. I am very, very active on there. I answer every single DM. I want to know like my followers are appreciated by me because of you, I was able to quit my job. I do this full time, so I am very appreciative of everybody who follows me. So it's Tiffany Croww, the right way to spell Tiffany, TiffanyCroww. And then you can also find me at fatyogicrew.as.me. That's my schedule. I have all my classes there. I have 4 workshops coming up this month, and they all are like about relaxing before the holidays. So there's a Shavasana class that I'm offering 2 times right after Black Friday, and then there's a class about being grateful for our bellies. So that's a really cool one that I cannot wait to do. We're going to learn how to practice yoga without a shirt, essentially. And then I have a triathlon, and it's a yoga, meditation, and a walk. And it's kind of goes back to my roots of like running marathons and like that sense of accomplishment. And I wanted to bring that to people who can't run. And so my best way of doing it is those 3 things. And I felt like, how cool would it be for people to be able to say, I'm a triathlete. Like I did a yoga, a meditation, and a walk all in one day.
Yay.
So yeah, like I have all those workshops coming up, and I'm super excited about all of them. So go check out. Yeah. Thank you.
Oh, I love your sweater.
Oh,
Please
thank you.
tell my listeners about your Fat Yogi sweaters.
Oh
They're
yeah.
so dope.
I have a Teespring. So like I said, on Instagram is like I like post everything. So if you go to Teespring/Tiffany Croww, like it'll be there as well. But if you go to my Instagram, I have a link tree and everything is like right there. I think the Fat Magical yogi stuff is all in there and everything. So yeah.
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 She's rocking like a unicorn on her sweat. It's like a black hoodie. There's
Yeah.
a unicorn, and then it says Fat Magical Yogi. It's dope. I'm probably gonna pick one up myself if I'm being honest.
Super cozy and comfy. Yes.
I love it. It is so hard to find clothes for women our size. It feels like the fashion industry is always trying to put us in potato sacks.
Totally.
It's crazy.
Yes.
Torrid is one of my favorite stores though.
Me too. Me too, for sure.
They're stylish and beautiful. So that's we're at 42 minutes, so we're not over time, but I'm gonna let you get back to your business.
Okay.
Again, thank you so much for taking the time to talk to me. I'm live from quarantine, as you can see. Shout out to my co-host, the 3 kids that keep walking back and making noise in the background.
Mine too.
I know it, and you know what? Again, thank you so much, and you can come back anytime. Anytime. Don't be a stranger.
Thank
If
you for
you got
having
something new coming up, let me know. We'll put you
me.
on, and you can talk about it on the show. Thank you
Awesome.
so
Thank
much,
you.
Tiffany Croww, the most amazing yogi on the internet. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Jolene. Bye.
No, bye. All right, guys. So this has been an episode of It Goes Down in the PM, and we found out what was going down in the PM with Tiffany Croww. So make sure you tune in every Friday and I will have a new episode up. You can check us on Twitter at It Goes Down in the PM. You can also find us on was it Anchor? We're on multiple platforms now. And to get early access and exclusive merchandise, you can go on our Patreon, www.patreon.com/It Goes Down in the PM. Thank you, Wine O'Clockers. Bye now.
Goodbye.